Hi, this is my review of the Ranvoo Aice, A-I-C-E 3. And let me tell you what I'm going to tell you first. It's not a miracle machine. It does have its uses. Before buying this thing, I scoured all the YouTube videos, all the Amazon reviews, and most of them seem to be sponsored. Most of them seem to be done by people who really didn't use them other than at their desk. And that makes a big difference. So let me cover some of the good things about it. The box is cool. You've seen that in the other videos. It comes with a charging cord, some brief instructions. You pull it out of the box and it's heavier than you think. It's kind of space age-ish. And it's loaded full of stuff that doesn't really do me any good. I kind of have this rare disease where if I get too hot, I end up in a hospital. So during the summers, like now, I live in air-conditioned homes, air-conditioned cars, air-conditioned shopping places, things like that. And I like to enjoy the outdoors some more. So I thought, here's the answer. Some of the good things about it. The features that I don't use that seem to work pretty well are that it has a little sensor in the back, and with that it can show your pulse. I think it does oxygen blood levels. There's a touchscreen display on the side here where you can control the device, although I find that the control works maybe a little bit better on the app on the phone. And you can go hot or you can go cold. And it gives you weather forecasts, tells you what day it is. There's lots of things like that. Well, one of the downsides I found out yesterday, I was experimenting in the direct sunlight, is there's no way you can read this unless you get some pretty good shade behind it. So I was relying more on the app. The heating capability, I don't think I'd ever use, but it does work fairly well. And my wife, who likes heat on the back of her neck, she thought that was pretty good. Cooling, inside, when you first turn this thing on, there's an aluminum plate here and another aluminum plate here, and there's fans, and I believe the intake is here and here, and it blows out a couple little holes. This goes down towards your back, and a couple of areas up here that blow up towards your face. The plates themselves, although I didn't measure it, really do get cold. Actually, it was too cold for my wife, and it was just nice for me. They advertise about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and I believe that. So what you're doing is you're cooling this backside of your neck and this backside of your neck. The fan is kind of like a joke. I guess I'm getting into the bad now. You can really not feel the bottom fan at all unless you have it on high. On the lowest level you can hear it a little bit, but it's not bad. And then you can crank it up, and then you have this stuff blowing up. But it mainly kind of blows up, and you can feel it on your ear and maybe a little bit on the sides of your face. But I wish there was a design feature where it would blow more on the face. I had a fan-only neck thing where it had two fans. You could point it directly at your face. So this doesn't do any of that. Inside, in a warm house, this works pretty well. So I can imagine that if you're in a doctor's office or a train or subway or an airplane, someplace where you're kind of trapped, a waiting room, and they're just not keeping the AC up and it's getting kind of warm, as long as it doesn't get warmer than about 80-85 degrees, you'll be glad you have one of these things on. If you go outside and you're in the shade, for me, I feel the added cooling effect of this thing up to about 80, 85 degrees. At that same temperature, I go out in the sun and I don't feel this at all. The air that comes through the holes is barely cooler than ambient air while the plates are still freezing. And I've also taken out and sat in the sun at 94 degrees, and I've gone for a walk with it as well. And at those temperatures in the sun, you can hear the fan going, so you can imagine it's going to be cooler. And you can stick your finger behind you and you can feel it's really cold back there. But that doesn't seem to translate, at least for me, into feeling cooler. Once I got into the shade, I think this helped me recover a little bit better to a comfortable position. But it's not a miracle machine, and despite my engineering degree, I was thinking beyond the envelope and thinking, this is going to do it. So it's going to be a tool. I'm going to keep it. I'm probably going to keep it with me when I go traveling, because there are situations where I get stuck in areas where, geez, I remember one time we were stuck in an airport. The air conditioning wasn't working quite well, and we had like a 3-hour layover, and I was doing everything to keep myself cool. This would have been really handy. Or I've been in the subways of New York where it gets really warm. This would be pretty handy for something like that. But on the beach, there's several reviewers talk about on the beach, and it was great. My wife used it more than I would. They must have really sensitive necks, because the blaring sun is like a fire hose of heat, for me anyhow. And this is like fighting it with a toothpick or something. You know it's there, you can hear the fan, but you don't quite feel anything. The one trick I did learn that works on its own without this, I use one of those balaclavas that you can make wet and wring out, and you put it on top of your head or over your back, around your neck, and those are really cold. They feel colder than this, but it leaves you feeling wet, and you look even weirder than when you wear this. But what I did find is when I wear that and this, then that air coming up helps the evaporation of the liquid on the balaclava, and I got a whole new kind of cool feeling out of that. So a little tip if you get this. So that's it. Not a miracle. Don't expect to go to the beach on a really hot day and think, God, am I cool? Because you will barely notice it's here except for the fan noise. But it does have other uses. That's it. Thanks.